All right, my 8th graders, this is my favorite. I am super excited. 1-5, solving equation with rational numbers. These are our one-step equations. They are so much fun. Because you can't see my face, I'm gonna drop a happy face because I'm thrilled. I hope you guys are too. Now, we talked about one-step equations last year. I gave you guys a ton of them because I wanted you guys to be really, really fluent with them. I realized that you guys have had a summer and might be a little bit rusty at it. That's okay. Remember, we want to do the opposite. Operation to move anything across the equal sign. So if it's adding, we want to subtract. If it's timesing, we want to divide, and vice versa, okay? Let's just get started. This will be solving equations with decimals, but really all of the steps are the same. It just changes what you have with them. So solving equations with decimals. You guys would probably like the decimals more just because fractions, for whatever reason, are harder to put into the calculator, but you're going to be fine. All right, so the first one, let's do y minus 17.5 is equal to 11. Well, I notice that this is my equal sign. I want to get my variable alone. Like, our whole goal is to get variable alone. That's what we want to do. That's us solving one-step equations, or any equation. We want to know what this unknown number is. So it is currently subtracting 17.5. So if we add 17.5, it gets rid of it on this side. But we can't do something to one side and not do it to the other side. That's why it's equal. So because we added 17.5 over here, we have to add it over here, keeping that balance. So add 17.5, what you get is 28.5. Over here, all we have left is y, so we know that y is equal to 28.5. If we substituted what we got back up in here, you guys would see 28.5 minus 17.5 is equal to 11. It makes the equation true. Let's do another one. Let's do negative 4.2p. Now it's right next to your variable, so we know that the operation that's happening, our operation is multiplying, okay? So to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite, which would be divide. And it's equal to 12.6. So something that's interesting is you guys will notice you have a negative right here. Over here we have a positive. So if in order to get a positive, you would have to multiply it by another negative. You see what I mean? So we know that this number is going to be negative. When we divide, it's important that you realize that the opposite operation of times is divide, not changing this negative out here. We have to divide it by a negative over here so that this becomes just a positive p because we need our p alone. And so over here, when we divide by a negative 4.2, we will get that answer to be a negative. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. Our answer is negative 3. If you guys wanted to do a longhand, remember you would have to move that decimal over. So really you'd have 126 divided by a negative 42, giving you your answer as that negative 3. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 4 is 12. Boom, you have it, right? So if I plugged this in for this p and I did a negative 4.2 times negative 3, this would be my answer, which is good because I need it to be true. Let's say you forget to do that and you have negative 4.2p and it's equal to 12.6 and you divide by 4.2 and you divide by 4.2. Common mistake is this. You say negative p is equal to 3. Well, yeah, a negative p is equal to 3, but you want to get that variable alone. That means that you don't even have a negative sign out here. So if you multiply it by a -1, it changes all of the signs in there. So a negative times a negative is a positive, and 1 won't change the value of a number. So that's why we do it by a 1. And then we have a negative times a negative times a positive, which is that negative. So if ever you forget your sign, you can do another step and it will give you that answer that you need. You just have to remember to times it by that -1. Okay, let's do another one. So if we have t over 7.5, let's say it's equal to 4, we'll notice that our variable is being divided by 7.5. Well, to get rid of division, we want to do multiplication. It doesn't matter if I times it over here or if I times it over here. All that matters is I know I am multiplying it. So I multiply this, I multiply this side by 7.4 or 7.5 as well because I times this side by 7.5. Now, timesing a fraction by its denominator will get rid of that denominator because really what you're saying is 7.5 divided by 7.5 and that gives us 1. So that's how that cancels out. So this, now we are left with t and it is equal to 7.5 times 4. 4 is 20, carry 28, 29, 30. So we have 30. You guys are like, sweet, it's 300. Don't forget, we had a decimal right here. So we have one digit that we have to bring the decimal in on. So we have one digit that we have to bring it like that. So our answer really is 30. Should it be a positive or negative? We don't have any negatives in this one, so we know it's a positive. So we're good. Yay. You guys are going to do about 3 of these, and then we'll move on to solving equations with fractions. And I am still super excited.